Good evening, everyone. I'm Zen Master Sebastian Rizzon, founding master of the Zen Art Center and the Mind Light Way School of Zen. I lead these guided meditations on the first Thursday of every month, and I hold a Dharma talk and group meditation on the third Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. You can also find these streamed live or anytime after on the Zen Art Center YouTube channel. The lessons and techniques I'll be teaching tonight are all derived from my experiences studying and teaching Zen for nearly 20 years. Prior to starting this school, I lived in a Buddhist temple for 16 years and became a Zen master under great Zen Master Changsi Kim. Zen was brought to China from India by Bodhidharma around the 5th or 6th century. In Bodhidharma's approach, he emphasized direct experience over following scriptures by pointing directly to the mind to realize one's true nature. This was a stark contrast to other schools of Buddhist thought, which relied heavily on doctrinal scriptures. Zen practice points you to a direct understanding of the mind. One of the ways a teacher points you to this understanding is through the use of koans. Koans are questions or statements that challenge you to gain a deeper understanding about the true nature of the mind. So the koan I give you today is, what is the mind? The mind is the origin of everything we know, perceive, and experience. In order to understand the mind, you must understand the core of your being. In Bodhidharma's teachings, he emphasized that the mind could not be understood through words or descriptions. This is because the mind is the origin of all words. The mind supersedes words. It's beyond words. And therefore, the words by themselves could never give you a sufficient understanding of the mind. So how can we understand what the mind is if it's beyond words? It's much like trying to understand the taste of an apple from someone else's description. The words can't really capture the taste. The best way to understand the taste is through the experience of taking a bite. The same is true for the mind. The only way to truly understand the mind is to directly experience it. The challenge is that the words, labels, and conceptual thoughts that we constantly fill our mind with hide the true nature of our mind. In order to experience the mind in its purest form, first you need to clear it out. To clear your mind, you need to let go of all of your thoughts, opinions, and desires. Only then can you experience what remains when it's completely empty. This is why we use meditation in Zen practice. We use our focus to concentrate our mind in order to experience the awareness that precedes our thoughts. In today's class, we're going to go through a series of meditations to help us focus our mind and guide us towards the experience of this pure awareness. With that said, let's move into practicing some different types of sitting meditation to help us clear our mind. When we meditate, we typically sit with our legs crossed, and you want to keep your neck and back straight. If your eyes were open, they'd be at a 45-degree angle, but for most of these, we'll have our eyes closed. You'll want your right hand, left hand touching thumbs, centered in your lap. If you're at home on a chair, you can just sit with your back straight. Try not to slouch back in the seat, and if you can, keep your feet flat on the floor. If this position gets uncomfortable, you can definitely stand up and stretch out. So before we get started with the meditations, let's practice a breathing technique that can help you relax and prepare your body for meditation. Start by breathing a little bit slower and a little bit deeper than you usually do. Visualize your heart in the center of your chest as you breathe. Feel your breath coming in through your nose and mouth, collecting all of the energy from your brain and moving it from your head into your heart. Keep breathing a little bit slower and a little bit deeper. Imagine now that you're breathing with your heart. The purpose of this breathing technique is to align our mind, heart, and body. You can also place your hand on your heart and close your eyes if you like. And just continue to take some slow and deep breaths. This is a technique you can use to relax or reset yourself whenever you feel nervous or anxious, or whenever you feel like you need to switch gears from different activities you're doing throughout the day. You could use it when you wake up, before you enter a meeting, before you go to sleep, or before you meditate. Let's just take a few more moments and take some slow and deep breaths. In traditional Zen meditation, we usually focus on a mantra. Mantra is a Sanskrit word that can be translated to mean a tool for reflection. In Zen, we use the mantra as a tool to reflect our mind. A mantra could be anything. It could be a reflection on a koan. Sometimes it's a simple word or phrase that's repeated within your mind. The idea is to focus on one thing in order to push out all of the other thoughts until your mind becomes clear of all thoughts. When your mind is completely focused on the moment, only then can you realize and recognize the true reflection of your mind. For our first meditation, we'll be focusing on our breath to help us clear our mind. For this technique, we'll just sit still and quietly count our breaths. During this meditation, try to stay focused on your breath. If you lose count, that's a sign that you've lost your focus. As soon as you have that realization, just start over and start counting again. You can do this technique with your eyes opened or closed. If your eyes are open, your gaze should be towards the floor. So let's practice this together for a few minutes. I'll hit the moktak to start and finish. In the next meditation, we're going to use sound as our mantra. For this meditation, we'll just focus our mind on the resonance of the singing bowl and let the sound waves push out all the thoughts and clear your mind. If thoughts come, just let them go and return to focusing on the sound. right now we're going to move into a traditional mantra meditation, which is a sitting technique. And the mantra is just, it literally translates to tool for reflection. So it's the focal point of your meditation. And in this one, we'll be using a word or a phrase. So it could be, a mantra could be anything, but in this one, we're going to be using a word or a phrase. So we're just going to repeat a word or a phrase in our mind and use it to push out all of the other thoughts. So if you try not to think about anything, thoughts will inevitably come into your mind. So by focusing on one thing, you can use it to push out all of the other thoughts. When you meditate on a mantra, just try to let go of your feelings, opinions, and desires. If any thought comes into your mind, just let it pass and keep returning to focusing on the mantra. If you don't have a particular mantra that you like to use, I usually suggest the mantra of Kwanseum Bosal. Kwanseum Bosal is the name of the bodhisattva of love and compassion in Korean Zen. A bodhisattva is an enlightened teacher devoted to guiding and helping others. Kwanseum Bosal is often depicted with thousands of eyes and hands and is said to be able to see the suffering of everyone and help those who call out her name. Using this mantra will bring compassionate energy to you while you meditate. Drawing this compassionate energy into your mind will help you relax and clear your mind while you meditate. Once again, the mantra is Kwanseum Bosal. Kwanseum Bosal. So just repeat that in your mind. And we're just going to do this one for a few minutes, and I'll hit the moktak to start and to finish. Now that we've used a few different methods of meditation to clear our mind, I'd like to guide us towards a deeper understanding of our mind. I'd like you to close your eyes for a moment. I want you to imagine yourself floating effortlessly in a boundless space that's completely dark and silent. You can't see or hear anything. You can't smell, taste, or feel anything in your surrounding environment. There's absolutely nothing stimulating any of your senses. Now imagine that you have complete amnesia. You have no memories of anything, no sense of time passing. You have no reason to feel sadness, happiness, anxiety, stress, or fear. You have no idea who you are, where you are, or how you got to where you are. You have no language to describe anything, and there's nothing to do. You sense nothing, and you have no idea about anything that ever existed, yet you're aware and having an experience. This is pure awareness. It's the fundamental, untainted experience of being. We all share this fundamental awareness. You can open your eyes now. My words are trying to guide you to the experience of pure awareness, but ultimately they can't explain what it is. The moment you try to explain it, you've tainted the experience. It's beyond words. It can only be experienced. Zen teaching is always trying to point you to that direct experience. Zen koans ask you to peel back the layers of experience until there's nothing left to peel away. For our final meditation, we're going to focus on a critical phrase. This is a form of koan study called Hua Tou that was introduced to the Zen lineage by Dahui Zhonggao roughly about 900 years ago. A critical phrase could be something like, "Who am I?" or "What is this?" or "What is the mind?" A critical phrase should be something that points you to the very source of experience. For the next few minutes, we're going to focus on a critical phrase. When you meditate on a critical phrase, don't try to answer the question. Just focus on the question. Let it burn away all of the distraction in thought until your mind breaks free, revealing the boundless clarity and unhindered, unfettered awareness. So we're going to spend a few minutes on a critical phrase. So these techniques we went over today can all be used to help you clear your mind and experience your mind when you're in sitting meditation. However, you can't sit and meditate all day. You have to move around and live your life and feed yourself and go to work. So how can you keep your mind clear when you're moving around throughout the day? This question is at the heart of Zen practice. The word Zen comes from the Sanskrit word dhyana. It's a Chinese transliteration of that word, actually. Dhyana is a state in which awareness remains unbroken, continuously engaged in the moment. The key to attaining this state, this Zen state, is learning how to focus. You have to learn how to remain focused on whatever you're doing without letting your mind wander. You have to focus on whatever you're doing as if that is your mantra. This might sound simple, but it's not actually easy to do. Initially, learning to focus requires effort. For most people, it requires practice. One way you can practice this type of moving meditation is by doing an activity you enjoy. It could be an artistic endeavor like drawing, painting, writing, dancing, or making music. It could also be a sport or a physical activity like yoga, weightlifting, riding a bike, or doing martial arts. Engaging in a physically challenging activity will also make your body stronger, which is vital for maintaining your mental health. Even walking can be a form of meditation if you engage all of your senses to focus on your surroundings. If you can remain completely focused on the moment, you can reach a flow state where your actions flow through you without thinking. If you're completely focused on each moment, it can enrich your experience by elevating your awareness of everything around you. If you practice some form of sitting and moving meditation a little bit every day, eventually you can turn everything you do into a meditation. You can be meditating while doing your dishes, cleaning your house, or doing your work at your job. Zen meditation does not necessarily require an external object, a thought, or an action, but instead it's a sustained flow of attention without any distraction. Dhyana arises naturally when the mind becomes steady and immersed in this continuous flow. When your mind is completely focused in the moment, your mind will be clear. Having a clear mind can have all sorts of practical benefits in your life. It sharpens your ability to focus and concentrate. A clear mind leads to clear thinking, which helps you make better decisions. If you make better decisions, you have less stress and less anxiety. If you want to have a clear mind, I suggest getting started by practicing just 1 to 5 minutes of sitting and moving meditation every single day. You can also expand your practice as much as you'd like, but try not to ever skip a day if you can help it. Always try to do at least 1 minute. The consistency is really important to training your mind to stay focused. This is not actually easy to do. Something always comes up. But it makes your mind incredibly strong if you can learn to do that. Try it for the next month. Then come back here and tell me how you did. Let me know if it's made a difference in your life. This type of meditation practice will help you over time to make your mind become more and more clear. When you're completely absorbed in the moment, your mind will be completely clear. You'll completely understand who you are and what is the foundation of your being. 100%. This means you'll completely understand your true nature. When you awaken this experience, this is what we call getting enlightenment. Then you'll understand the true nature of everything. Every journey starts by taking one step. Whatever it is you want to do with your life, point yourself in that direction and keep taking steps until you reach your destination. If you want to attain enlightenment, point yourself in that direction by asking yourself the question, what is the mind? Keep taking steps towards this point by practicing sitting and moving meditation until your mind is completely clear and immersed in every moment. I wish you all good luck in that journey. And I always take question and answers at the end of class. If you have anything that anything you're curious about the mind, about meditation, about Zen. Any questions today? We'll see if we have any. Do you have a question?
Zen is the word of Japanese, right?
It originally, Zen is the Japanese word, but it originally came from. Originally, it's a form of Buddhist practice. It came from India to China. In China, it was called Chan, and then the Chinese. That's where it started to be called, and Chan and Zen are basically the same word. They all come from this original word in India called dhyana. And I come from a Korean tradition, and it's Seon there. So it's Zen, Chan, Seon, and the American English word is Zen. So they've adopted that as the pronunciation, but it's all the same thing. It's all the same practice. Each teacher has slightly different variations on the way they teach it. Some emphasize sitting meditation a lot more than others. Some try to emphasize koan practice. Some emphasize things like this critical phrase we spoke about today. But I think one of the things that gets missed a lot is that it's really, it's a form of focus or meditation on everything that you're doing. And that's ultimately what it's trying to point you to. And when you reach that form of flow state through everything you do, then all of the boundaries start to dissolve. You have no space for like conceptualizing and conceptual thinking, and that's where even the sense of self can dissolve in that, and then you experience the oneness which Buddha was referring to as enlightenment. So there's many paths to that place. I think learning how to focus in your mind in that way, where there's never any mind wandering out of the moment, is very difficult for a lot of people to do. But that's essentially what all these different forms of Zen are trying to teach you to do through either sitting meditation, moving meditation. We were just focusing on our breath for a couple of the ones you missed. I was using the sound when you came in. I think a lot of people, and I say this because this was kind of many years ago before I knew what Zen was. I thought it was a shortened version of the word zazen, which is a Japanese word which means sitting meditation. They also have I think it's Zhoushuan in Chinese is their version of that, sitting meditation. But that's just one form of Zen. This, I can't remember the, Zen is a form, a shortened version of the word Chan. I think it had a second syllable that they eventually just stopped saying. But it was supposed to be a transliteration of the word dhyana, which some people translate to mean meditation. But I've actually been trying to find the origin of that word, and I found some things in Sanskrit that said it's more accurately like the complete immersion in each moment and complete focus in each moment. And it's something that arises without effort. So initially it takes effort, but to get to the true state that it's pointing to you, it has to be an effortless focus and awareness in each moment. Any other questions? I'm not seeing anything in the live chat today. Well, with that said, I'll end the class. I have a few closing statements here. We do this class on the first Thursday of every month. I also do a meditation and Dharma talk where I talk more about the mind, Zen practice, things like that, and more about the philosophy of Zen. And that's like half meditation, half talking. That's on the third Thursday of every month, same time. So this month, that is March 20th. I also do Zen art and writing groups. So these are ways to practice the moving forms of meditation together. We're either making art or writing, trying to focus on our mind, on what we're doing. And also we're using sitting meditation in the beginning of class to try to clear our minds and use that as a source of our inspiration. So the writing class is this Sunday. It's usually on the second Sunday, which is this Sunday, March 9th from 3:30 to 5. The Zen art group is called the Zen Art Collective, and that's the fourth Saturday from 3:30 to 5. So that's March 22nd this month. All of this information is on the Mind Lightway meetup pages and on our website, mindlightway.org. And you don't need any prior experience to participate in any of these classes. You can let me know if you have any questions about any of these. In closing, the Mind Lightway is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we rely solely on donations to continue to offer these classes. I try to make them free for everybody, but we do rely on donations. So if you found value and you'd like to leave a donation, we definitely appreciate that. We have information in the description on YouTube. We have a little table in the back with all of our Venmo, Cash App, etc. And we greatly appreciate your generosity in supporting these programs, and most of all, we appreciate you coming out and joining us. And you're all invited to hang out and chat for a while if you'd like to strike up a conversation. I think we have some barley tea we're going to have as well, so feel free to join us for a cup of tea. Thank you very much. Have a great night.